Now, here's part two of the story just in the hospital. And I'm not even telling this in great detail here. I'm doing this sort of in a shaky, quick manner. I'm dealing with shit in my personal life right now. That's why I started with the message before about how I would never hurt myself. These are sort of guaranteed recordings so that people know what's going on just in case something happens to me or I go missing. Um, Basically, so part two, they put me into the room, being gassed again. I didn't even know what it was at that time. And you'll see how it develops, how I ended up figuring it out slowly over time. And there's so many people attached to this that if we blow it up, people will know about what I'm talking about. So I'm in the hospital, and the cops are trying to get me to leave. And on the other side, they have two sheriffs. They had a sheriff and his son. The sheriff are the guys who drive us to and from the jail. So they'll take you from the cop shop to the jail, jail to your court, court back to jail. They have an integral part of this. They were threatening me at the time, saying that like don't make them do something. His son was crying for him at the time, and it was all a big show. You'll see because I deal with that sort of thing here in Lethbridge and BC up to even when I left last year. Okay, so it's been on for a long time. They put on these fake situations. I'm in the hospital, and his son's crying for him. He's like, I wish you don't do this, Dad. You're gonna have to go away for life. Like he was gonna kill me, implying. So I find out that my door is not even locked. By the way, the camera is off on the room that I'm in, and I'm technically, I don't know if I'm on a suicide watch at this time. I would like to get it, but I mean, I told him I wasn't trying to kill myself. I told him that I just was having some mental health. So they had me in a mental health room, suicide room, and the door is unlocked, camera's off, and now I'm like, hey, this is what I'm saying. This is a very fucked up situation, and this is just a start. This is just a taste, and this is not even in full detail of some of the other crazier stuff. All right, this is one situation out of 1,000 that I've dealt with. One. Okay. So as I'm sitting there, the room's unlocked. They're gassing me. They're trying to get me to leave the room. So that's the reason for them to arrest me again. As you know, I'm leaving without being told to leave. I ended up having to basically sit in that room, holding the door somewhat half open until they realized. I only stayed there for about an hour, honestly. So they're supposed to keep you for 72 hours. They ended up kicking me out after about an hour. And this is another recurring theme throughout this. You'll understand why eventually. So this is at Maple Ridge Meadows. They wanted me to kill myself. It's in connection to Becca at that time. It was where we were living in Harris Road. I believe that they had been watching. I'm not sure which classification or officer or which group but I'm pretty sure it was them. They had been watching. I had a feeling that the reason that this had all started is basically in that apartment. I had thought that there had been some cameras. There were some scratches at my door underneath the key lock. Things had been moved. We're going to talk about that. The reason I'm bringing that up specifically is they had somebody living above. It was a unit 205, and that actually has a lot to pertain to some other things, and you'll get to see that, and you'll see who Mr. 206 is. But it was 205 and 206. So the people beside us in 206, I'm pretty sure were undercovers at that time, and above us in 305. Right? I do plan on releasing the exact. I even know the manager who was there at that time because I would like people to question it. I would like people to look into these times and dates and figure out if I'm telling the exact truth, because I'm telling you the exact truth. And it's going to pertain to a conspiracy theory and a mystery that is beyond anything that's going on in this particular world at this moment. The more people start to realize that, the scarier it is, but the bigger it is. And maybe I can change this around, even though I waited way too long to do this. So that day I ended up leaving. I'm dealing with shit. Shortly afterwards, couldn't go back to my house. I'm dealing with shit on the street. I don't fully quite understand what's going on at this time. I didn't know really what this had specifically about. They get me kicked out. Becca had other people who she had been dealing with at that time, which is a very important thing to be brought about. I wasn't even allowed in that apartment, and me and these people don't even like each other, but we'll get into that later. And so it ended up starting some bullshit. There was some drama on the street. We can get into that to a certain extent later. But basically, that follows up until about 8 months. I'm dealing with, it calmed down a little bit after that, but I was dealing with some real situations on the street in that time, in Maple Ridge. And it had a lot of people who were a part of it and dealing with it. Like people who are sort of a part of dealing with it here in Lethbridge right now. And that's why I want to try to reach out to these people. I think some of them think, they have to believe that most people are good people, but if misled on the wrong situation, that there can be some sense made onto why. So, the next biggest one happened when I got arrested. I ended up trying to get into a recovery house. I had been followed by both different types of people. Cops were sort of part of the situation. I didn't understand why. They sort of backed up after that time. They tried to get me to kill myself, but there were some other situations I would like to, when I get a chance, fully talk about. This is years of unrepressed trauma and shit that I'm talking about, leading up to everything to where I'm sitting about right here. We're going to start the next video here, and we're going to go on. Thank you.